Tonight, the judge in Donald Trump's Georgia election case scheduling a hearing on allegations that District Attorney Fani Willis is romantically involved with the lead prosecutor in the case, a man named Nathan Wade. At issue is whether the money she paid Wade for working on the case was then used to fund their lavish vacations together. One of Trump's lawyers raised the issue earlier today, making it the first time these allegations were brought up in a courtroom. Neither Willis or Wade have responded to the allegations so far, but of course, Trump has long tried to discredit Willis, and this raises major questions about whether he will be successful. Ryan Goodman's with me, our Outfront legal expert. So what do you take away from all this?
So I think the allegations at this point are unsubstantiated in large part, like the core of the allegation. But at the same time, Fani Willis has not denied them either. And in fact, the Washington Post right now has a headline blazing, which says, Georgia prosecutors remain silent days after explosive allegations. So I think it's a problem. And if the allegations do bear out, then it's an even more serious problem.
All right, so this is not the first time Willis's, at best, judgment has been called into question, right? She had attended a fundraiser during her investigation into Trump's election interference, and the fundraiser was for a Democrat running against one of the targets in the investigations, right? So that had already happened, and now you have this. Does her record, if this does bear out, right? And as you point out, they've been silent, so there's a real question mark tonight. Would this disqualify her from prosecuting the case?
So I don't think that it necessarily implicates the case itself. That would be a very high burden to show that there's a conflict of a certain sort and that she'd have to be taken off the case or something like that. But a separate question might still be, independently, just forget about the case, should there be disciplinary measures taken? What about misconduct, just in terms of if the allegations are true and she acted this way as the district attorney? And then that still has blowback implications for the case indirectly, but not directly.
Well, there's the public perception, which is what all this ultimately, even though, of course, I know we say a court of law is about, right, in this political cycle and Trump's allegations of persecution. House Republicans announced they're investigating the allegations, which of course is no surprise, but they have a specific concern. They have several, but one of them, Ryan, is meetings that Nathan Wade had with the Biden White House counsel's office. They're raising the question of why would he have been meeting with the Biden White House counsel's office, if the inference being if there's not political interference in this case. Is this a legitimate concern?
It would be a legitimate concern if there's political machinations going on and it's a political people that they're meeting with at the White House, but it doesn't look like that. All we have is a line that says the prosecutor Wade is meeting with the White House counsel's lawyers. And if he weren't meeting with them, I'd actually think that's maybe a problem. Like, aren't you doing your job?
So you think it would make sense in his role, if none of these allegations are true, he were just the lead prosecutor, this meeting would make sense?
Absolutely. He needs to speak to the White House to ask them, are they going to invoke executive privilege? Can I speak to the former White House chief of staff? Can I speak to the former White House counsel for Trump? And then what's your legal position going to be if we reach out to them? He has to ask those questions. I don't think on its face there's anything there, not even yet. I don't even think that's like a smoking gun or something, or smoke. There might be fire. As it stands, that paper trail, that's not a paper trail. It's obvious that that would have to take place in a certain sense.
Right. Although, of course, now you have these questions in light of it. Right. That is the whole issue, is there's the perception. All right, Ryan, thank you very much.